and welcome to B2B Topics and Tips, bringing you the latest buzz about small business topics, tips, and expert interviews. Watch live or watch later. Please feel free to drop any questions or comments into the comments, and if you're watching later, you're welcome to use hashtag replay. Hi, I'm Melissa St. Clair, Communications and Standard Operating Procedures Specialist at Paper Chaser Biz, LLC, a military spouse-owned enterprise. And I am thrilled today to have a guest interview. And my expert today is Jim Fuhs with Fuhsion Marketing. He is the president. Welcome, Jim.
It's great to be here, Melissa, and good to see you. We haven't got to see each other in a long time, but it is nice that, we originally met like in person when people would be out and about. So it's great to catch up with you.
Yes. So, and Jim thrives on the cutting edge of social media and marketing. And I'm going to read his bio to make sure that I get it right. So Jim Fuhs is the president of Fuhsion Marketing and does marketing the Marine Corps way. Jim is a retired Marine Lieutenant Colonel turned digital marketing consultant, speaker, live streamer, podcaster, remote live stream, and virtual event producer with over 30 years of business and social media experience. Jim fuses Marine Corps leadership with next level digital marketing. His 20 plus years of highly successful leadership experience as a Marine Corps officer lets him bring that to bear in ever-changing world of marketing and technology. Hoorah! So today we are talking about getting started with live streaming, and I know this is going to be a popular topic that our viewers are really going to want to know a lot about. So Jim, let's get started. And I think maybe from the beginning, just explain the basics of live streaming. What is live streaming?
Yeah, so live streaming, you've really got several options, but what live streaming means is you're actually going live, usually on a social platform. It doesn't have to be. There are ways to, like, say, go live to your website or sites like Vimeo where you have like a invited audience. But the challenge with live video is there is no like do-over button, right? It's real, it's raw. It's like you're running your own live TV news, which I think one of the benefits of that is you are being yourself. People are seeing you as you are, because a lot of times when we watch some of these recorded videos, these are people doing it over, 5, 6, maybe more times, trying to make it perfect. And I think that in today's world, people want to do business with people they know, like, and trust. And so as a business owner, if you can be real and you can be live, so you can also get that interaction with the people that are watching you live, it really creates a unique connection that you don't necessarily get when you have like a recorded video.
Yes, truly reality, right? So question number one then, so where to go live? Where should we be going live?
That's a thing that really kind of comes down to like, is your tribe, right? If you're on B2B, you might want to go live on LinkedIn. You can go live on Twitter. There's YouTube, Facebook, even on Instagram. But with Instagram and TikTok both, you're going to have to go live within their apps. It's vertical video, not landscape like we are here today. So that's another thing you have to consider. There's third-party software that can really make your life easier as far as graphics and engagement. And my friend Chris Stone and I, who do a show on Amazon, that's another place you can go live if you are into products, believe in what's called pattern interrupt. How can we change things up so that you don't just see, in a sense, like a talking head? So for me, and I would think for a lot of your viewers, that if they're in business, LinkedIn might be the place they want to go live. Now, one of the nice things that's recently happened is LinkedIn has come up several months ago with what's called this creator mode. And if you're posting on LinkedIn and you just go into your settings and you turn that button on, you're going to get LinkedIn Live access. It used to be something people would have to wait forever for. You might want to go live on Facebook, but I would also say what you're starting to see is that there has been people are leaving Facebook. So that's where you got to kind of find your, where's your audience hanging out. But the other thing is, don't expect like overnight success where you're going to have tons and tons of viewers. It's a long journey, as I like to say, not even a destination, because once you get there, you got to keep going. You can't just stop.
Right, right. That's good to know about LinkedIn because several of their features you do have to wait for, or yeah, just be patient. But if you can just go in and give it a try, why not? So let's talk about equipment to go live. What's really required?
I think that's where sometimes let themselves get hung up. I mean, I've been doing this, as you know, since 2018. And so I started out with just my laptop with a webcam. And the reason I would say at least start with a webcam is because a lot of times the built in camera with your computer isn't all that great. But even more important than the video, the most important thing is your audio. And I say that because people aren't always watching you, but they're listening. Like maybe they're working on something to the side and they've got your show on. People will forgive bad video, but they won't forgive bad audio. So you can invest in a microphone. In fact, this one here is called the Samson Q2U.
Okay.
It's about $60, $70. And what's nice about this is it's both what we call a USB and an XLR microphone. So you can plug it straight into your computer. And then when you graduate to maybe where you want to have a sound interface, you'll still be able to use that microphone. The other thing that is really magical, you don't even think about it, is this right here, your smartphone. These smartphones actually usually have better cameras than than even the webcam. And so some of it is easy as plugging it in directly to your computer with a cable. There's an app called Camo, Reincubate Camo, that will allow you to adjust the camera, automatically, and you can kind of see on your computer what you look like. So if you wanted to zoom in or out with using your back cameras, because I know like for me with the iPhone, it's got a lot of nice cameras now on the back, and you can, even get 4K going. And so if you've got a smartphone, you can already start going live. So I think sometimes we get in the way of ourselves in regards to, oh, I got to have, thousands of dollars of equipment. And because if you do that and you don't succeed, you're going to get frustrated. And then the other thing is lighting. I've actually got 3 points of light. I've got a light on the other side of my camera, 2 lights to the side. You want the light coming from in front of you. And your lighting looks really good today, Melissa, because sometimes what happens is people will have the light behind them and then they look like they're in the witness protection
Oh
program.
my.
So, you want to light your face up. You want to try to avoid the shadows, but, number one, audio, 2, lighting, and then your camera. And you can, kind of like work your way up a little bit at a time. Don't, listen to these people that say, oh, you got to go out and buy the newest camera and the $500 microphones, because you spend thousands of dollars on this equipment and nothing comes of your live streaming, you'll be very frustrated and dejected. And then the other thing is, you do need to have steady internet. And if you don't, what I would say is start by maybe recording yourself if that's what you need to do to get through that confidence thing, because there are programs like one that I use called StreamYard that will let you upload a video that you've previously done as if you're going live, schedule it, and then it'll play that recorded video live to your audience on the different social platforms.
That's awesome. I love the practicality and how you broke that down because equipment can be daunting and be a real barrier to getting started, to put your voice out there or having those conversations with other people like we're doing today. So, and let's talk about a little bit about repurposing your live streams.
Right. Repurposing, I think, a lot of times is one of those areas where in general, as creators or, business owners, we fall short. Like you'll have this great interview, like the series of interviews you're doing, and then you kind of like, oh, it's off to the next one. And it's like, but what did you just do with that content that you made? So we use a program in my business called lately.ai, which allows us to use artificial intelligence to upload the whole video. It will actually cut it up into small bite-sized clips that we can then repurpose on other social platforms with a link to the full episode. And so we'll schedule those out, with different scheduling software. Lately actually has its own as well, because, you may have had a great interview of someone several months ago and no reason not to keep bringing that up periodically, because when you go live, one, not everybody was able to make it live. Two, even with the recording, depending on the platform, it's not always easily found. Like I know, like you've had some shows where you're sharing it on Facebook. If I don't catch it right then, it's like, well, kind of, where did that go? I know I saw that Melissa did a show. And so some of these platforms aren't friendly in that regards. And that's where sometimes YouTube is a great place for repurposing, because you can upload your video to YouTube, you can put it in a playlist, you can do some SEO things with the titles and the descriptions that will get people finding your content later. So that's where I think YouTube is sometimes, as a business owner, underutilized, because you can, what are we? We're all problem solvers. You solve the problem of people scaling their business by using virtual assistants and coming up with processes. So having videos out there about that is going to get people to know, like, and trust you and bring you over. So I think the other thing you can do too is take these videos, and another great program, Otter AI, will transcribe it. And then you could turn that into a blog post, or strip your audio and turn it into a podcast. So there's, these are all things that can be done. It really just comes down to what you're comfortable with, because I think the number one rule in all of this is consistency. Because if you're not consistent, at some point people are going to say, well, I guess they're not doing that anymore, and they'll stop looking for your stuff.
And I love all of that you just shared. The automation that always gets me going, because you want to automate as much as possible. And it sounds like there are tools out there to help us make live streaming much easier and less cumbersome in trying to do the production pieces or the repurposing pieces. So thank you for that. So please feel free to drop your questions or comments into the comments for Jim about live streaming. And what a great topic. Oh my goodness. So now let's get down to your best business tip or tips.
Yeah, I think number one is come up with a plan, not only what you're going to talk about on your live stream, but as an example, if you're going to have guests, start preparing in advance. I use a Calendly link, you do as well. Send it out to folks and get that schedule in advance, because when we first started the Tim and Jim show, as an example, in 2018, sometimes it would be like, oh my gosh, we just finished the show, who are we going to have next week? And it can become very stressful. So create that process where not only do you use something like Calendly, whether it's a Google form like you use, which I think is great, or even in Calendly, you can have them ask questions. So you're kind of building that framework for the show in advance that allows you to create your graphics, kind of get an idea of what you're going to talk about. And so I think that's a big thing. The other thing is consistency. Find a time that works for you. Sometimes if you're, like in your case where you're interviewing people, you maybe have that flexibility where, okay, I really want this guest and they can't do my time. You can have some flexibility as well. And then, the other thing is, just do it. If you go back and look at my first live streams compared to now, it's probably like night and day. So we don't all start out at, the top. And, I kind of think sometimes, right, it's that whole imposter syndrome thing of feeling like I can't do it. I mean, and I applaud you for, you've gotten out of that comfort zone and are doing it, because there's so much opportunity with video. If you really look at how many businesses still aren't doing it, this is where you can kind of set yourself apart by getting started. Because I think I know I'm a visual learner. I don't know about you, Melissa. And so I like to be able to see what people are describing and demonstrating. But that's why these other things, whether it's podcasts, blog posts, because we got to remember, people have different learning modalities. And so you want to think about that as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yes, I am more a behind the scenes person, but it's actually a lot of fun. So yes, I encourage you to join us on these live streams as well. Start your own show and have some people aboard. So Jim, thank you so much for joining me today on B2B topics and tips. How can viewers connect with you?
Well, one of the easiest way is just go to LinkedIn, go to, linkedin.com. And actually the easiest way to find me, I think I'm the only Jim Fuhs, Fuhs. And also I've got a LinkedIn page for Fuhsion Marketing. And then if you're interested in what we're doing with Dealcasters on Amazon, just go to dealcasters.shop. That'll take you to our storefront where you can follow us and see all the things we're doing out there on Amazon. And we got a course coming soon that I'll make sure to get you that information, that not only going to teach people how to maybe become Amazon influencers, but also help people become more confident with video presentation. Because like I was showing you earlier, we're here using Zoom, and I can do things like this where you can now see my desktop. I can
Amazing.
create a frame, and I can just go back to this. And so that, because Zoom is a place where a lot of people are meeting.
Mm-hmm.
And, here's a way for you to stand out by using a virtual camera. On the Mac, Ecamm really, it works great. If you got a PC, I know there's some other programs like Prezi and some others that'll really help you stand out. So even if you're not going live, you want to look your best, present your best, and happy to help people do that as well.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much for the topic and the resources and just sharing your expertise with us on B2B topics and tips. I am beyond grateful. So thanks again. And everybody be sure to connect with Jim.
Thanks. Great to see everyone.